It wasn't, oh, this is the Airstream. No, this is where I live. They burned my entire town down.
Yeah.
They let my neighbors burn alive.
You hear that? That's what a breath of fresh air sounds like. Spencer Pratt is a breath of fresh air for the people of Los Angeles. He's honest. He's a straight shooter. He cares about the things that Angelenos care about. And most importantly, he's exposing, shedding a light on the corruption and criminal negligence that the administrators of Los Angeles, from the mayor on down, are guilty of. But who is Spencer Pratt? Why is he running for Los Angeles mayor? I believe he can tell you better than anyone.
Spencer, welcome to The Story Is, and congrats on the run.
Amazing. Thank you for having me and for greeting me in the parking lot. That is a first out of any media hit I've done.
Yeah.
So what a gentleman.
Talk to us about the most basic question. Why are you doing this? Why are you running?
That is a very simple answer. We can go back to when my house burned down and my parents' house burned out and my whole neighborhood burned down.
That can't be it. They're saying that he's only running because he's a washed up celebrity and he wants 15 minutes of fame. They're saying that he's running because he's getting a TV deal. It couldn't be the fact that his whole house burned down due to the negligence of the mayor of LA. Couldn't be that. Couldn't be that his mother's house burned down and she's crying every day. It has to be some selfish motivation. But they believe that because that's why they run.
And I started investigating how this happened. And I find out the level of negligence on our city officials, our state. And when I started exposing it with whistleblowers, and then even the LA Times exposed this. And these same city officials just lied and lied, and nothing was going to happen. And then in 2 weeks from now, on June 2nd, Mayor Bass would have got automatically reelected. And so I had to just get in the race in the sense to just counter these, like, hello, people, this person should be in jail. 12 people burned alive. And you cannot just move on and act like, oh, I was in Ghana, oopsie daisies. Like, no, you should have resigned. You should have admitted to your failures, and you didn't. And so I just had to for my community. And then once I got in the game and saw that, oh, our whole city is on fire, literally. I mean, it's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's the thing. They say, one, their first attack, Spencer's a nobody, coming out of nowhere, washed up celebrity. Two, oh no, we're not responsible. We did everything right. It was unprecedented 100+ mile winds that we've never experienced in the history of LA. And that's why the fire spread so fast and burned everything down. And then they go do the research. They checked the wind speed that day, and the wind speed was like less than 40 miles per hour, a normal average day. These people literally run for office so that they will be put in positions that make them responsible for things that happen to people like Spencer and things that happen around the city of LA. But the minute those things happen, they're willing to spare no expense hiring multi-million-dollar lawyers to go to court and prove that they aren't actually responsible for the things that they ran a whole campaign to be put in charge of. It's the most idiotic thing ever.
You know, so that's why.
I mean, when you say Karen Bass burned down my house, you don't mean she actually threw a match, but you're talking about that this fire, in your view, was preventable.
Not in my view. Now, multiple judges have thrown out the appeals by the city's $2,000 an hour Munger and Tolles lawyers. That, keep in mind, we have 500 city attorneys on salary with our taxpayer. Yeah. Now we're paying, the people that sue Apple and stuff. We have them saying, oh no, we have no responsibility. And multiple judges have now said, oh no, this is moving forward. We have full discovery. So it's not Spencer saying it. The evidence is there of the negligence just adding up so long, the list we could spend an hour, and I will if you like. I know you have a lot of questions, but I will break down exactly how she's responsible.
Everything was preventable. You cutting the budget for the fire department of Los Angeles, that was preventable. emptying out the reservoirs, lying and saying, oh, they needed repair, which is a damn lie. Emptying the reservoirs for environmental reasons to save little minnow fish way up the river, way up in Sacramento, that's preventable. All of this was preventable, but these people are ideologues. So they are willing to risk the safety of their constituents if they believe it will help them reach their vision of a communist, socialist future. They're totally responsible, and it was all preventable.
So in your view, then, what does accountability look like for those involved with the fire? If you're mayor, what does accountability look like?
Well, accountability is moving forward to make sure all these other communities don't catch on fire, because right now we have accountability where the mayor will say, we're ready for the next fire. We have 45 less firefighters right now than we did January 7th. That's a lie. Go on the website and look at the list of all the things the firefighters asked for in this last budget. Denied, 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 denied. So for me, accountability as mayor is actually making sure everyone's safe. We can't get the accountability except for in court with actually Mayor Bass, state parks, LADWP. That's the only accountability there. But everybody.
Yeah, so everyone knows that LA is not prepared for the next fire. I live in Los Angeles County, a few minutes away from LA. They're totally unprepared. They're constantly firing firefighters. They'll let go of 100 firefighters and then do something like what Karen Bass did, appoint a female fire chief, so that people don't pay attention to the fact that Karen Bass is making LA less safe when it comes to fires. They're only focusing on the symbolism. Oh, the first female fire chief. And the female fire chief went to Karen Bass and was like, I am not able to keep Angelino safe because you're cutting my budget. You're laying off firefighters. There's no way for me to do my job. We can't do our jobs. And what does Karen Bass do? She ignores her, right? She cuts their budget even further. Then when the fires break out, Karen Bass doesn't say, that's on me. I'm the one who cut the budget. She fires the female fire chief. She lets her go. She gets rid of her and blames her for not doing what was supposed to be done on the day when the fires occurred. And the fire chief is now suing Karen Bass for wrongful termination because she didn't have the resources necessary to do her job, to keep the people of Los Angeles safe. This woman, Karen Bass, she's evil. And I love the fact that Spencer, being the straight shooter that he is, he's speaking truth to power, and he's exposing her ass for who she really is. But let's go to what Spencer's going to do.
So from a policy perspective going forward, what changes to prevent that? You already talked about the idea of more firefighters, but is there anything else from a policy perspective that changes when it comes to fires?
Yeah, I think people miss in the debate what I said that will change not just Los Angeles, it'll change insurance in California. I've had multiple meetings with Wayne Colson, who does the Chinooks for LA County. He provides the quick reaction for us. He has 3 of them.
And if you don't know what a Chinook is, it's just a helicopter that can carry large loads, and they use them to carry water to fires and dump that water onto fires. And what I want to let you know is the things that Spencer is going to mention here, these aren't things that were not available to Karen Bass. These people have been in LA who run all this type of stuff and who know about fires and everything. They've been in LA for decades, and they've come to her. When something is being neglected, they come to her because why? They profit. So if they profit from keeping us safe, you don't think they're bringing this to Karen Bass? You don't think they're letting her know, hey, the reservoir's empty. If there's a fire, if something happens, this is unsafe, right? They're letting her know. She just doesn't care because the only thing she's worried about is her socialist, communist agenda to destroy America from within.
Add a 4th, and we do a mutual aid with his Chinooks for Los Angeles City. We probably buy another one, and we put 20 dip sites around these communities, because right now, if we have these dip sites, they hit the water, boom, they hit the water, and then we also connect pools. There's a lot of big pools in LA. You go to these communities, say, A lot of these are also second homeowners. A lot of people don't even live here. They would have no issue connecting pools to then fill a dip site, say the water system goes down again and we can't connect it. So we have 20 of these dip sites, 1 mile from each other. So now we have water all around these communities. Then, obviously, as mayor, I am clearing dead brush. And whoever the new governor is, if they have a problem with it, my citizens' lives are more important than milk vetch. So I will make sure we have fire breaks. And we.
So basically, Spencer he's a genius. He's a genius because he's using common sense. He's going to create dip sites, right, where the Chinooks could go pick up water in the event of a fire, where they, because there's a reservoir, literally a 1 or 2 minute flight away from the Palisades. But because that reservoir was empty, they had to fly like 30 minutes in one direction just to get water from another reservoir, then fly all the way back to dump that water onto the Palisades fire. 30 minutes away, that's an hour round trip. Now, guess what? Everything's burnt down and the fire is out of control to where the water's not having an effect. Also, using local pools as a reserve, as reservoirs in the event of a fire, absolutely ingenious. I don't believe these are Spencer's original ideas. These are ideas that have been pitched to people like Karen Bass for decades, and they didn't want to do it because they didn't care about it. They're more worried about pleasing the environmentalist than using common sense to keep Angelino safe. And then the boundary, the barrier, where you are able to clear brush and shrubs, right, out, from close to your house. So you have like a barrier that the fire can't jump over, or it takes the fire longer to jump over to get to your home. So Spencer's using a lot of common sense here, and I think that's what makes him the perfect candidate for LA mayor. But we got to go to what Spencer's going to do about the thing that is on the mind of all Los Angeles residents. It's on my mind more so than even the Palisades fire. Many of us look at that like that's just a rich person problem. But the problem that we're all focused on is homelessness. What are you going to do about homelessness, Spencer?
That's her perspective. That'll be litigated in court. In terms of the other big issue in the city is homelessness. From a policy perspective, what changes with you in charge?
So I keep countering this, obviously. For me, we don't have a homelessness crisis. We have a drug addiction and mental health crisis because of, I call it super meth. The LA Times likes to call it super pure meth. So super pure meth and
super pure meth,
which creates mental health crisis with psychosis. So the DEA says LA 93% is drug addiction. So as mayor, I keep telling everybody, we just need to enforce all the laws that are on the books. And today, the LA Times countered, it's going to be very hard for Spencer to enforce the law because these city council members want to keep the encampments in front of schools and parks and daycares.
Of course they do.
What these people forget is in these encampments, it's illegal to be naked in front of kids. It's illegal to be pleasuring yourself in front of kids. It's illegal to be shooting up in front of kids. It's illegal to be smoking in front of kids. It's illegal to be naked. It's illegal to steal all the stuff they're doing. It's illegal to defecate in the street. It's illegal to pee. There's plenty of things as mayor I'll be able to enforce laws. And again,
so does that mean that you're sending the LAPD into encampments, or what does that look like?
That's not in there. There's no more encampments. They've taken over the streets.
Yeah.
I'm going to make sure that LAPD can do their job. Right now, they can't enforce any laws.
Yeah, and I've been saying this for years. You don't need a new law to enforce the laws against loitering in front of a business if you're not buying anything. You don't need a new law to enforce a law against pissing on the street or defecating on the street. I remember when I was a kid, if you pissed on the street, you were getting a ticket or you were getting arrested. All you got to do is enforce the laws that are already on the books. This is so much common sense, and this is why people love Spencer, because he's saying what every single Angelino, every single person in Los Angeles, every single person who is living in an area where they're dealing with large amounts of homeless people have been saying all along. Just enforce the damn law on the homeless the way you enforce the law on regular law-abiding citizens. It's crazy that we now have a two-tier justice system where if you're homeless, the law just doesn't apply to you. You get away with murder, so to speak. And many times you do get away with murder. But what is he going to do about the real issue here, which is these people aren't just homeless. They're not truly homeless, so to speak. They are actually just drug addicts and people suffering from mental illness who couldn't maintain a home if you put them in one. Why are we addressing these people as the homeless when that is not the most pressing issue that they are dealing with? Let's see what Spencer's going to do about that.
So again, as mayor, I'm stopping this scam. There will be plenty of beds and treatment, and I'm going to launch it on my site. I have an amazing video coming out to show my campus with facilities and treatment where actual money will be used to get people sober, give them the chance to come back to the street, where there will be actual accountability. There will be transparency. You'll know where every single dollar is, and it's going to be millions, billions of dollars cheaper than increasing the problem.
So you're going to build your own campus to do this?
100%.
And where is that? Where can it be?
Probably I'll get a beautiful federal land. It's going to have trees, but
In the city of Los Angeles?
It's probably going to be outside of the city of Los Angeles because we need a very large piece of dirt.
So this idea, because that was sort of rumored that you're going to send people outside of LA. That is what you want. And how do you get buy-in for that from that community?
Why do you need, see, and this is my issue. Oh, you're going to send people out of LA. Listen, these people are acting like these are like law-abiding citizens who are contributing to the city. They're not. They're people who are in a very bad situation with drugs and mental illness. They're not contributing. But maybe if we get them out of LA to a facility where they can get the treatment they need, they can come back into LA and be productive members of society instead of just being a danger and a burden to society. That's the biggest thing. It's so, oh my God. It's enough to make you scream how these people try to use any and every angle, no matter how any and every argument, no matter how absurd it is, to protect their scams and their corruptions. The reason they're challenging Spencer on this and they're not implementing these things is because they're profiting from these people suffering. But how is Spencer going to bring business back to Los Angeles? How is Spencer going to bring revenue back to Los Angeles? Spencer, how are you going to make LA more affordable? He has a plan for that too.
Now, the other biggest issue is housing affordability. The rent's too damn high for so many people in this city. What do you do as mayor to make it cheaper for people?
Well, first off, like I keep saying, they lie. All they do is lie. They try to say they can make anything cheaper. They can't change the price of anything. But what we can do is make LA more successful.
Facts.
We can put more money in people's pockets by actually bringing restaurants back. We've lost over 100 restaurants because of drug addicts in front of these places, yelling at customers, going number one and number two. I talk to these restaurant owners, why they close. You cannot have functioning businesses when you let an outdoor asylum be in front of everything. So once you enforce a law and restaurants can exist, small businesses can exist, we're gonna have more money in Los Angeles. We're gonna have more opportunity. Right now, everything's closing. Every business, every restaurant, less jobs, less opportunity. And again, the amount of meetings I take with people that wanna put money into LA that is being blocked by the current powers that be, mayor, city council, because they have so many of their insane rules, regulations that make no sense. I'm gonna do real red tape cutting, not this, performative, cutting the red tape. We always hear, anybody you talk to, whether it's the YIMBY people, whether it's just the housing people, the affordable housing, everyone I talk to says it takes minimum 2.5 years to get permits going.
So what people have to understand is the administration, the mayor, the people under her, these people are socialists. They're radical socialists. They're not going to come out and tell you that. They're going to say, I'm a democratic socialist or something like that, so you don't get scared. They block revenue from the city. They purposely create a situation where the city is is not business friendly, where it's almost impossible to open up a new business, a real business, right? They're not trying to stop you from setting up a burrito stand on the corner, because that won't grow into anything. The people in the burrito stand, they're happy with that because they pay no overhead, right? They're okay with that. Stuff that makes this state and city look like Mexico, they're okay with that, because that's the type of environment that they're trying to create. So they do things that chase real business away and keeps real business from entering into the state and or the city. They want to make this a welfare state, and they want to make these cities welfare cities. So Spencer Pratt is telling the truth. How about, instead of being like Zohran Mamdani and doing stupid stuff like trying to freeze the rent, why don't we make it easier for people to pay their rent by getting the homeless off the streets, getting the mentally ill off the streets, so the businesses can get customers through the door, create a situation where the customers are no longer scared to go into downtown LA at night, so they can go and dine at the finest restaurants and go eat at the trendy restaurants and the things that they see on Instagram and TikTok. That all would bring revenue. But right now, people are afraid to go into the inner city. So the restaurants are starved for business and they have to close down. And that makes it harder for someone looking for a job or looking for a second job within the LA city limits to find a job. And that makes it harder for them to pay their rent and take care of their bills. So then they either have to leave or go on government assistance, which is exactly where people like Karen Bass and the radical socialists of America want them, dependent on the government. Hey, become a Democrat socialist. Let the government take care of you. Like Margaret Thatcher said, socialism is great, but eventually, she said the problem with socialism is eventually you run out of other people's money. And that's what they want to do. They want you to believe that they're going to be able to take care of you with other people's money. And if you don't believe it and accept it, they will create a situation like they're doing in LA to force you into a status of being dependent on the government. Okay, so there's been a challenge made, or a lie that's been spreading, where they're saying that Spencer Pratt doesn't even really live in LA. They're saying that he's living in Beverly Hills, or the Bel Air Hotel in Bel Air, which is a super fancy hotel. They're saying that him putting the Airstream on the site where his home once stood is all a gimmick for views, clicks, and views. Spencer's pushing back against that. He's letting everyone know that is his residence. And in my opinion, he dropped the damn hammer. He dropped the damn hammer on this part. And he made it very clear in no uncertain terms that, Palisades is his home. That's where he lives. He ain't running.
It wasn't, oh, this is the Airstream. No, this is where I live. They burned my entire town down.
Yeah.
They let my neighbors burn alive. And I don't live at the Hotel Bel Air, and I don't live in Santa Barbara. I live in that dirt, and that's my fight. And people can't, unless you lose everything, like my fellow fire victims, if you go up to, I asked, Mike G the other day, I said, Mike, in front of somebody, where do you live? He said, the Palisades. His house burned down. He doesn't live in the Palisades. He has a temporary residence right now in Malibu through insurance. But a fire victim, we can't disconnect with, this is our lives. Mm-hmm. It's everyone acts like it didn't just happen. Oh, it's 18 months ago. It just happened. Most people are crying like my mom every day. Mm-hmm. I'm not crying because now I'm fighting for people. I'm not a fire victim. I'm a fighter. So they just are missing the point. This is where I live. This is what these people, yes, they have houses. They don't care.
Spencer Pratt is a danger to the establishment because he hasn't forgotten how to fight. Please like, share, and subscribe if you haven't already. Until the next time, peace.